Buying a dental practice is the biggest decision of your dental career, and selling that dental practice is the second biggest decision. I am here with our awesome sponsor, founder of DDS Match, Thad Miller, and he's going to share about one of the practices he has for sale right now. Thad, welcome to Talking Nachos. Thrilled to have you on here. Looks like you are out and about in your broker world. Tell us a little bit about your daily life being a broker, helping dentist dreams come true and avoiding screams.
Well, hey, I'm on the road today, like most days. Obviously, in our business, we like to be knee to knee with our clients as much as possible. Yeah, so you can't do this too far remote. That's why we've got 53 DDS Match professionals out in the across the country, making sure we can sit knee to knee. And
I have a question for you, Thad. I never thought of this because I've been in dentist for 22 years, and I see patients who I say, "Weren't you just 3 years old, a day ago, and now they're, graduating from college." Have you had scenarios where you've been selling a practice, you help someone buy because, 20 years have gone by, or 15 years, or maybe even 10 years?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm actually headed to a client that I sold a practice to 13 years ago, and now he's wanting to sell and do something different. I'm doing that. I've actually have three clients right now that are doing that very thing. I have one client that just passed the Florida exam and is moving his family to Florida because he's tired of the winters that you and I experience in Indianapolis and Philadelphia. So no, it happens all the time.
So you were there for the whole circle of dental life. I want to share with my audience. To learn more about what DDS Match does as an awesome sponsor, text BUY to 215-543-6454. And if you're looking to plan to sell your practice, we're going to talk about this practice for sale. But one of the things that we cannot reinforce enough, that when people text sell to 215-543-6454 to connect with you and your team, should it be before they want to sell their practice tomorrow or retire yesterday? When should they reach out to you?
I mean, honestly, 3 to 5 years before they see themselves walking out of the practice. We've got a couple of different processes. One would be more for the dentist who's ready tomorrow or ready in the next year. The other one's for more the 3 to 5 year, where we can get them prepared for the ultimate best case scenario sale. But as far as one for the dentist who wants to be retired in the next year, we use our trusted transition process, and
I love it. I love the photo you shared of your son at college. He's a senior. Is that true? Is he a senior now?
Yeah, senior.
So I use this analogy. It's never too early to learn about a big decision. So even though we just celebrated my daughter going to kindergarten, it would still be great for me to learn about the pros and cons, the challenges of college tuition and college. And when you have a dental practice, I've noticed that most dentists don't want to practice forever. So at some point, if you own that practice and you're listening, reach out to Thad and his team. They have complimentary conversations about making these decisions. And now we're going to drill in, Thad, pun intended, to the story of one. You have this practice for sale. I want to share with my audience. It's in Indiana, but I'm going to let you kind of walk us through this practice you have for sale right now.
Sure. It's a practice in central Indiana. It's about 35 minutes from the suburbs of Indianapolis. Fortunately, in Indiana, it's pretty easy to get around. We've got 4 different interstates that cut across our state. But this is in a community of about 25,000 people. There's actually somewhat of a shortage of dentists. There may be 6 dentists in this 25,000 population town, and they've got good industry there. And there's a very large Eli Lilly is building a plant nearby, spending $3 billion for their new Wegovy drug. So it's a growing community. I think it's a really quality practice, and the real estate's available if a dentist wanted to buy a practice and the real estate at the same time, or lease it with an option to buy. We do that often too.
I love that. It looks like it's a solo GP, 5 operatories, doing $871,000. So educate our audience a little bit. Let's say you've been an associate for 3 years, you see a 5-op practice, and all your friends say you got to buy $2 million practices, or all your friends say you should buy a practice doing $100,000 so you could build it up. I have my answer, but what's the benefit of buying a practice with this size and this substantial revenue base right now?
Well, I think the most important, there's 2 things. One is it cash flows. Okay, so you buy a smaller practice, and I have plenty of practices that are sold at a lower amount, and they're betting on the come. This one cash flows very well, but it also has a lot of room to grow and they can take it to $2 million if they want to, if they want to add services, if they want to open an extra day or whatever. But you're only paying for what it is now. You're not paying for the potential of it being a $2 million
Yeah.
practice. So you pay, this is an average, this range is about the average single practitioner practice in the country is right around 850. So this is an average dental practice as far as revenue. It produces enough income to pay the staff, to maintain the real estate, and to have plenty for the dentist, and even an owner, a new owner, after debt service. One of the things that's unique about us, we have a firm that we work with called Blue and Company that does business valuations on our practices, and they will actually, from a third party view, show how this practice will cash flow even after debt service, so even after borrowing money for the practice. Not
Awesome.
all practices do that, but we want to be transparent in what we're showing when we're showing opportunities to potential buyers, because they may be making a very good money as an employee working as an associate, but maybe they can even make more, even though they got to take a little more risk. But obviously, when you're buying something like this, it's an asset. It's like buying a home versus renting an apartment. It's an asset that at one day you can sell, just like the 3 clients I'm working with. They bought a practice 10 years ago. They want something different. They're going to sell it and then buy something else
Yeah.
in their new location.
And I think one of the things you shared are just things I didn't know as a young practice owner, right? Like you said, there's nothing wrong with a really small practice, but if the cash flow is not there and you need to support your family, that's a challenge. And on the other end of the spectrum, practices that do $2 million often have a dentist who's doing some spectacular things. So you need to be able to replicate those services. So I feel like this really is, like you said, a sweet spot here. So people can text Indiana to 215-543-6454 to get connected with you about this practice. I see it was remodeled in 2018. Anything else that you want to bring to life for a potential buyer who's watching our mini podcast on this about this practice?
No, one other thing you were mentioning, like, you got to find the fit for you. We call it DDF match for a reason. We want it to be a match. But like you said, that $2 million practice where they're doing a lot of different services there, the buyer's got to match that skill set,
Yeah.
right? One of the things that we do that's unique to us is we have what's called a clinical opportunity blueprint, and it's an exclusive product that we have. We work with DI, Dental Intelligence, to come up with this report to show how that $2 million, or in this case, $800,000 is spliced up as far as type of work. And the buyer obviously needs to be able to do those services. In a lot of cases, there's plenty of services that are getting sent out that maybe they want to do because they have the skill set. But
Yeah.
or when they get in there, they can decide, what they're going to send to a specialist, what they're going to do themselves. But we want to be transparent. That's our goal, and that's why we work out of the trusted transition process.
I love it. Well, thanks for sharing this. This is a great foundation. As people can, as I said, they can text Indiana to 215-543-6454 or reach out to us at transitions@dentalnachos.com. Thanks so much for sharing, Thad.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Really appreciate the opportunity.